What's up, guys? How was your weekend? We got the chat. John, Anonymous, Freebreaker, how you guys doing? Noah, Crypto Traveler. We'll see what we get. So, right now, you can see Bitcoin, we kind of had a fall after we hit our little supply concern yesterday. This is a relatively older level from February that we came out to test for the first time since February. So we're looking, we try to get acceptance above this POC, and this macro point of control came from the range that we were in from November to February. And we failed to hold the POC as support. If we held this POC as support, we would have a much higher chance of coming up to rotate to that value area high. But instead, we lost it. And let's see here. We generate this location as our strong low. So if we come down here, we'll get a daily change of character occurrence. So we gotta watch out for that potentially to happen. If that happens, then we might see more macro structure bringing us down to the lower sides. So we don't want to lose this value area, right? But if we did get that change of character, then that would be like a warning number one that we're very likely going to be coming down from here. If we do come down from here, then I'll be expecting around 88.5 to kind of basically be the floor before coming back up. But we got to take that with a grain of salt, right? We got to make sure that we see that honored first and don't just assume, don't limit in. Make sure you see reversal structure before defining that reversal. But when we came up here, we made this area much weaker. So we'll see if we can get another tap and hopefully get a climb back up. If you zoom in on the lower time frames, you can see that we're trying to find support off of this previous value area here. We're not doing too great, but we basically have the confluence of this zone acting as a form of support. This is kind of like a micro version of what happened in between February and November. If I zoom out on the daily, you'll see what I mean. We've got this valley area low that was held up relatively strong. What was mainly causing the huge bump, like pumps back up, was the retest of the POC of this valley area and this demand zone. Every time we tapped it, we had a really aggressive return back inside the range. And if we zoom in the lower time frames back to where we were, as a comparison, we've got this little demand zone here, this POC that was holding up the price action. And so we kind of got the same kind of behavior like we did back in the macro range, but in like more of a micro version. But here, we got a potential double bottom forming. It's not confirmed just yet. But if we break this neckline here, which would be the POC to this value area here that we were in before, we'd have the confluence of it rotating at least to its value area high, and hopefully leave the value area and come right back up, so we can get that higher high on the daily and get past this POC. So maybe we'll get that full rotation back to 101K. But yeah, POC levels, one of the core reasons why we have to watch out for them and why they're so strong is because of the fact that they are the biggest area of interest inside of a range where most people accumulate or sell their assets. So you got to visualize it as a potential area where a large amount of people's averages are in those zones. So when we get there, we're bound to see some people cause some sell pressure, especially if it's the first time after, being this massive downtrend for so long. And some people might want to try to get out. Well, we should take a peek at the on-chain metrics as well today and see what's going on there. On the 4 hour, this looks pretty rough. A bearish engulfing tweezer off the POC. It's going to mark this level here. Yeah, so if we get, above this wick here, we'd get our internal like 15-minute change of character occurrence. So break above that for the confluence of breaking above the POC. Be above the VWAP for a rotation to the Valerie high. We might have the ability to front run it. Maybe we'll get an SFP off this down here. If we continue to go back down a little bit. Go with the 5-minute. What we might get instead in the lower time frames is a change of character. Right now our change of character key level on the 5 minutes up here. Because we didn't break that low here to define this as our change of character level. We have the confluence of the VWAP in our face there, so if we break this, we'll probably test this, get a pullback, and then hopefully get the higher high so we can get that inverse head and shoulders structure, the change of character occurrence, the VWAP break, and then we can start targeting this neckline. If we break the neckline on the 15-minute, then we have the confluence of the 15-minute change of character occurrence. So this could be a potential 5-minute front run to the 15-minute break to bring us to the Valerie high. Wait, yeah, one barrier at a time, basically. This is our core barrier on the 5, core barrier on the 15-minute. And then this will be our next key barrier. Around here, we'll be looking for potential reversals or continuation structures. And I would definitely listen to any reversal structures that happen there because there's a lot of confluence for it to come right back down. We've got supply concern here, a little one here, and a little one here. Very nice shirt. Oh, yeah. Brian's here. Bearish Brian. He likes seeing red. He's like a bull, or I guess he's like bear, but maybe he's a hybrid. Not sure. Hey, Kyle. Thank you for the live. Keep it up. Thanks, man. No problem. Just grabbed linked long. Nice. Yeah, this is the time to accumulate some alts. Yeah, Chainlink's one that's a good hold for a long term. Can you check dot chart, please, Kyle? Yeah, we could do that too. Okay, let's set an alarm on Bitcoin's 5-minute change of character level. We're gonna do once per bar close. There we go. All right, I got my alarm set. I got a quick question from Nova. With the TR main candles, is it the right to say that whether we have a blue candle price will definitely go up, but most come back down to sweep the blue candle lows? You never want to guarantee anything in this space. When it comes to vector candles, one thing that is pretty common is not that we usually continue to go the direction of a vector candle, but that we usually come back to reclaim it. Vector candles are created by a swarm of orders, a large amount of orders coming through. And there are these things called like swarm bot market makers or swarm bot. They're not always market makers, but they usually, what ends up happening is they do a bunch of little tiny orders to mask a big order. And it's not, you typically want to be doing like swarm orders in areas of high liquidity, but that's not always the case. So it will clear the order books and normally create like a fair value gap reaction, and we reclaim that area when the order books just get one order against it, and we just kind of like fill the whole thing. It's easy for me to visualize because I've been like watching the order books for so long, but the more you like get accustomed to the order books and see what happens in the order books while a vector candle is created, and you'll have like a much better understanding maybe after like 4 or 5 times after watching it. But basically they clear the order books, so it makes it easy for the price action to like refill that zone. But it's definitely not any form of like guarantee or anything that I've tested, at least, that it will continue to go the direction that it was created. So if you get like a green vector candle, it doesn't mean we're going to be going up, or if we get a red vector candle, it doesn't mean we're going to be going down. But that would be something worth back testing and seeing if it does have a higher probability of going in certain directions. You can use that higher probability as a part of your rule set. It's definitely not one that you want to use like by itself. You definitely want to add confluences, like if a vector candle, for example, is like created off of a bounce of a POC, or a rejection of a value area, or a support bounce off a value area low, or during a break of a VWAP. That could be additional confluences or different rules you can add to your rule set for when you decide to want to trade. But that's just me guessing of whether or not that is a good set of rules. So I'll take a look first and back test it, and it'll be worth trying out. But I do know that they very commonly get reclaimed very shortly afterwards, just because of what's going on in the order books, usually when they're created. So I hope that helps you out, man. All right, so let's go to looking at, we got a couple of requests to look at Link and to look at Dot. Someone said pretty pleased with Dot, so I'll take a look at Dot first. So let's go to, last time we looked at Dot was May 3rd, so a couple of days ago. We're on the 5-minute chart. Okay, we lost our demand zone. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's update this. We got double distribution here. Actually, this is a good example I could add to the course. We had we have double distribution here, which typically means we are range bound at 2 locations within the value area, and that these are basically their own little value areas, right? Then we move quickly between them. So this is called a valley or a volume gap. And whenever price action closes inside of a valley or volume gap, price action moves quickly to the next volume wall. And then we lost this area. We got uptrending support here. Let me just make this white, easier to see. Yeah, so we lost uptrending support here. Then we used the valley area low as resistance with the lower low. And then we came down and we used the previous valley area low as resistance as well. We confirmed it recently. So like Bitcoin, I wouldn't say it's looking too bullish. Internally it's looking bullish. But and technically macro, it's still technically bullish until we get that change of character occurrence. Yeah, I'm not too, whenever I see stuff like this, in my experience, we typically tend to continue to go down further. But we should wait, obviously, first to get that confirmation. We're off by a hair. But same with Bitcoin. Dot could get that reversal. Let's pull a fixed range off this little area here. These are always annoying, these little candle areas. The reason why I don't like this, and it's also a reason why I don't usually trade low market cap. I'm not calling Dot a low market cap, but whenever I see stuff like this, typically I want to see like a change of character as part of my rule set. And if that means I have to wait until something like this to get to the value high, I don't really like it. So Some people will alternate their rules during scenarios like this and wait for a full body candle close above a key area instead. But I would rather look at another asset to find a safer setup than just accept something like this. But basically, I would be like rotating over to something like Bitcoin in a scenario like this, or another asset that has better structure, and jump in on something like that. And maybe you could follow along with DOT if it has a lot of relative strength to the other asset. But it's got a lot of Bitcoin pairing liquidity, so it should follow along with Bitcoin, whatever it does. So if Bitcoin confirms its inverse head and shoulders here that we're kind of predicting to occur, then DOT could likely follow suit and then hit its value area high, while Bitcoin goes to this neckline level at the POC. That's DOT right now. And just keep an eye out on it. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. And like macro wise, like it's looking good. We finally broke that downtrending momentum, and typically whenever we do in the large time frames like this, we get a full rotation to its value area high. And right now that's like around 728. But I'm expecting DOT to potentially get to around $10 within this rotation up. Yeah, that's pretty much it. An area if we lost this that we could fall back down to, it's right down here. 370 is like the worst case scenario. Between 379 and 368. All right. What else we got in the chat? Will you check Sui if you have the time? Yeah, we kind of went through our Bitcoin analysis pretty quick. Like we're watching Bitcoin carefully, so we have some time to look at other things while we wait for Bitcoin to confirm. Like I got another 30 minutes, 45 minutes or so to hang with you guys before I gotta do my next call. But I think I can see like a rejection of the VWAP here. Pull back to this value area low area, then a higher high. And during that higher high, we can jump in on the trade. I wouldn't want to jump in on it if we broke out immediately, because we don't really have that strong of a stop loss guard to give us the proper risk to reward ratio that we need to jump in on this trade safely. But yeah, let's go take a look at Sui for, where's our list here? Looking for the chat. Whenever you see me looking left, by the way, it's me always looking at the chat. I got a new monitor to put it above the camera so I can like make it look like I'm looking at you guys when I'm talking. So, runway rate cuts May 7th. Fed is not expected to change rates priced in. Jerome Powell's commentary will likely move markets. Could wreck folks. You know, that is true. Let's take a look at. I don't think they're going to be adjusting rates, but I think it's a little too early. With all the, I don't know if they realize this, and I hope that they do, but all this tariff talk and how it's impacting the markets, it could create like an artificial sense of that the inflationary rates are improving, when really it's just like stocks and everything that kind of follows along suit with it is falling. So I'm hoping that they wait until like the dust settles a little bit first before they make any concrete changes like that, because I think it is a little tad too early before they make the adjustments with their rates. But I'm not in charge, so FOMC, like you said, on the 7th. Today is ISM services. Nothing too crazy. unemployment. Okay. So yeah, we're looking, Wednesday is the big day for this week. And seeing what happens there, but I don't think they'll be decreasing the rates. I think they'll stick to, and if they do, it'll probably just be by like 0.25%. All right, we got the change of character. Now it's just a matter of crossing our fingers for a pullback. So we get the proper R&R, because right now we do not have it. If we jumped in now, stop loss guard here, target here, we're risking to lose $100 to gain like $119 basically. We want to be risking to lose $100 to gain 200 or more, preferably a lot more than 200, but in this case we're aiming for $224. Okay, and SUI was a request, so let's take a look at SUI. SUI's getting divergence here for sure. Yeah, you can see it populating on the RSI. I got this level marked with an orange line. Let's see, was that the last short or long? Looks like we were preparing for long. It's on the lower side. Yeah, we never got the confirmation. And that's why you wait for the confirmation, or else you could have entered and got slaughtered here. I did enter a long over the weekend. I really shouldn't have. I'll go over it with you. I jumped in on SFP that was doing extremely well, and then just before the target was hit, it came down and stopped me out. I'll go over that. We've had a bounce off of this POC for SUI. We went right through this demand zone. We were talking about how it was pretty much mostly mitigated last time we tapped this zone. We went through the whole area. So when we come back down, whenever this occurs, we got to assume that all those buyers might be gone. And we got a good bounce here. We never escaped the demand zone, and we never got like a proper like change of character reversal occurrence. But we did, yeah, got a really strong bounce off this previous POC. Lost momentum for a moment, came back up. Now we got momentum building here. This can be deleted. Oh, my alarm went off, scared the crap out of me. All right, yeah, we got the candle close above the VWAP and above this level here. But it's still, like I said, if there's no R&R, there's no trade. So I'm kind of still hoping for that pullback. All right, so SUI, yeah, we want to see proper acceptance in this previous value area. Right now, we're not like we're combating these previous highs over here, where all the liquidity was, like resting up here. We grabbed the liquidity already, so it looks like it's being used as exit liquidity, so it might cause a reversal. This is our neckline here. This is also our change of character occurrence here for like a bearish move. What we want to see is basically a break of structure occurrence inside the value area, so we can potentially get that rotation back up to its value area high up here. Roughly where we had this short last time. So we have some short confluence here, but I don't have enough evidence for a good long. So yeah, we have this break. We'd have acceptance back inside this little demand zone, previous demand zone, and we get a rotation back down to here. And that's roughly the measurable target of the structure itself. It's pretty much the bottom of the value, that demand zone. This is one of those things where you kind of want to wish you were already in before you jumped in. Like we had a 5-minute change of character occurrence here, and a 15-minute one here that you could have jumped in on. Use this as your stop loss for the 15-minute. Use this as the stop loss for the 5-minute, and wrote this up. So this is kind of like your potential exit warning. Like if you're not already out of the long position, if this breaks, you definitely want to get out. Well, that's Sui. I hope that helps you out, man. Can we look at DOT? Did we already look at DOT? Yeah, we looked at DOT already. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. I went over it pretty thoroughly, so I'd definitely just look back a little bit, because we can take this time to like look up new assets for other people really quick. I am going to be trying to add chapters to the older lives, guys. So whatever subject we speak about, I'll add chapters so you can like go back to certain assets we talk about and all that stuff, to save you guys some times when you're trying to look back, or if you missed the live kind of thing. Are there a couple little sell walls along Bitcoin? Let's take a look. By the way, this is definitely a tab when it comes to like CoinGlass's order books that you want to practice closing often when you're done with it, because it keeps accumulating like data in the background, and it really slows down your computer. Like I've had it stack up to like 10 gigabytes of virtual memory. Right now it's like 424 megabytes of virtual memory, but it just like compiles more and more and more. So you got to make sure you don't leave it open overnight. But anyways, here we do have a couple sell walls, so good eye on that. For anyone who's new to order books, whenever you see these little, you see these red cliffs here and the green cliff here. When you see like a steep move, that normally is like a visual indication that there's a large amount of limit sell orders in one spot. And here we have limit sell order for the amount of 500 Bitcoin at 94,290. And then shortly after that, a little more. We got maybe 600 or so Bitcoin at 94,380. So our first area of concern is, man, you guys are hearing that alarm too? I didn't realize you guys were hearing that alarm too. I didn't know if I had like desktop audio. I just saw like the sound waves on OBS. All right, we're getting that rejection, which we kind of want. So here, yeah, 94,290. So you can mark that on your chart. Type in the coordinates, 94,290, right? So we can see here on this chart, this is a Bitstamp chart, that price action exceeded past it. But if we were looking at like the Binance chart, this would likely look like horizontal resistance or like wicks and stuff like that. But we're kind of eating through it. We can validate whether or not Binance has broken the sell wall by watching the order books, because there's a whole bunch, there's 4 little cliffs here, and there's some internal to this more external large one here. The external large one is the Binance chart, which has a large amount of impact over most exchanges' price, because exchanges use like a price aggregator that's kind of like a combination between multiple big exchanges. Like a lot of exchanges use like Bybit, Binance, and like OKX as a part of their average for their price. And it's important to watch the big guys. Okay, yeah, so we're still got that sell wall going on Bitcoin here on Binance, which is good. We want that pullback, but when we come back up there, that sell wall, it'll be weaker, right? Because we tapped it already. So that's what we kind of mean. That's like a visual representation of what we mean when we're tapping an area and we're like chipping away at it like armor. It's because we're literally getting rid of orders that were there that were causing resistance or causing support. And right now we've got, in order for us to break past 94,300, we need to have like 1,150 Bitcoin like completely bought up from the sell walls. And that could be one big player, or that could be multiple people selling in the same spot. What we got? One daily zoomed out. Bitcoin bull flag measured 105K target and reversed early. Well, we did have a correction, but we're not like fully out yet, right? We have that daily level that we haven't broke. So we're still technically bullish until we break that daily level. Yeah. Get rid of this. All right, Bitstamp's back up here. We got rid of another 100 Bitcoin in that sell wall. Slowly get rid of it. Spoof orders. Yeah, so like spoof orders, for anyone who doesn't know what that means, it's originally called like NTIF, like non-intentional to fill. And it's like when people put in a large order to either manipulate the market, and they don't intend on having their order filled, so they'll just pull it when it gets close to that area. So yeah, you have to watch those the order books, because sometimes they will just pull their orders last second, and then you expect support. This is why you wait for structural confluence, right? You never just depend on one indicator. You have to use multiple. But price action itself is the best indicator. If we get that double bottom, like change of character occurrence, then you can definitely count on the fact that like a buy wall, for example, is being ordered in the order books. Are those coin glass orders generally a magnet for price to attack that area, or an indication that price will drop off in this case? So limit orders is technically a form of liquidity, so they do kind of draw price to it. However, more importantly, what they do is it kind of guarantees a form of resistance. Unless we have an insanely high volume day, like a 1,000 or 2,000 Bitcoin sell order or sell wall would have a huge impact on the price and could cause like horizontal resistance off of it. In this case, we're hitting not a massive sell wall, but right now we have low volume. So it's big against the volume that we have. Well, when volume starts to pick up, 1,000 Bitcoin sell wall is less impacting. But we have 1,000 Bitcoin ready here to be sold, and we're kind of going to watch live how we're like every time we hit that area, if we're chipping through it or not. And it's looking like we might break through it soon. Yeah, 800 Bitcoin wall now, 793 wall. Can we please drop the link for this coin glass heat map order book? I can't seem to find it. That's because they don't have it in their navigation. Like you got to save this in your books. Yeah, your book. Yeah, just save the tab, because they will they kind of make it impossible to find it in their navigation menu. There's no way to find it really. So I've had to save this link, and I favorited it so that all I gotta do is really type just the word merge, and then it will come up. immediately. Okay. With the liquidity map and all, yeah. Bookmark, thank you. I was having a brain fart there. How are your candles multicolor? I'm using an indicator called Trader's Reality Main, and it shows me volume data on each candle. All right, we're still struggling to break past. I just want that pullback. I want a strong low to define a stop loss guard. Brian's call starts in 2 minutes. So Brian's part of our team, and he does like a weekly open analysis for the community at this time for about an hour. So you prepare for the week. We're kind of doing that now, but let's see. What we guys got in the chat? So Mike is saying he's looking to long XRP at $2.03. Let's see if we can find his confluence. So XRP. So you're looking to long at $2.03. So you're looking for a low. Well, that makes sense, man. Yeah, they're around like 205. There's a valley area low here. Looks like I was talking about something here, so I'll just delete that. So yeah, we lost uptrending momentum on XRP, and we pulled back here, retested the momentum in the previous valley area low, mitigated a micro supply concern here on the lower time frames. And then we're on our way to like confirming that potential move to $2.05 area. So 203, you're probably looking at a potential SFP, grab with this liquidity. So yeah, man, you got good confluence there to prepare for a long for sure. Just make sure you wait for the structure to define that entry. But this is a good spot. There's lots of confluence here for longs. Just gotta get that structural confirmation, that's all. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's a good spot. And depending on how the structure is formed along the way down, like you could start targeting these potential highs up here where all the liquidity is. We got tons of liquidity stacking here when you visualize the order flow of all the break structures. It's probably Fibonacci heaven there. Yeah. Oh, one sec here. And yeah, not the best, but still pretty good. We are in a spot where we could potentially prepare for a reversal on XRP. So hopefully, if you want that long, we're going to need Bitcoin to come down quite a bit. But XRP has some relative strength. We're in an area for XRP where a massive majority of people are still holding in a profit. And we're at that previous all-time high. So the more we range here, the more we allow like the old investors to get out and new investors to get in to like stabilize off these highs. So we might see XRP drop even if Bitcoin pumps. Not bad. What else you guys want to look at? Litecoin weekly? Sure. Yeah. I got some Litecoin. Haven't looked at it since March 7th. My gosh. We bounce out the 50. No, that's the legacy support. Is that legacy? That's legacy. All right, we bounce off legacy support again. This is support that's been holding up since December 2018. Since 2018, we've been bouncing off this uptrending support level. This is the kind of support that you never want to see an asset break. And like when you lose legacy support, you sometimes like rethink even holding the asset, in my opinion. Like when we lost legacy support on Matic, I was like, holy fuck. Like it just like plummeted, and I got rid of my Matic before I lost all my gains from it. The like Bitcoin's legacy support is way down there though, so you don't really have to worry about that with Bitcoin. If we zoom out on Bitcoin's, let's see. Yeah, it's way down here. It's been holding it up since I think 2017. Yeah, July 2017. Like Bitcoin is way down here. Like legacy support in combination with on-chain metrics will allow you to call bottoms extremely well. But yeah, Bitcoin, if we went straight down today, it's at like 42,000. If we broke legacy support on Bitcoin, that's when you're like, you think about, oh, is this a good idea to hold kind of thing. It's a little scary. You get way more earlier signs than that though when it comes to Bitcoin. Okay, so we got our little pullback here. Let's go to Litecoin chart. You can see we got a really aggressive bounce off of that legacy support that we're talking about. We got our change of character occurrence here on the daily. We are building lower time frame divergences. You can see that. Got like a bit of a regression trend. Like awkwardly expanding. Like an extending, broadening wedge. To the low. It's at a local value high. I'll just zoom in on this in the daily one more time. Delete this. Like up here, like I wasn't expecting Litecoin to actually break this key level here. If we zoom out on Litecoin, like this level is incredibly important to break. This is like right here was like the averages of all the people that accumulated in the previous bull market for Litecoin. And we are inevitably going to have a hard time breaking through that. So all the people that were like got weak hands, that, well, maybe too strong of hands, but now they got weak hands because they were holding it through all this crap. And that's like holding at a negative for, yeah, over like 1,043 days. So they're going to very likely sell up here to try to like rebuy at lower areas. And yeah, right now we could potentially come right back up to try to fight that battle one more time. But until then, we've got, so we need to get it back above 96.60 to potentially get that rotation back up. A little demand zone. I want to pull a fixed off of this bear flag here. There we go, previous value high. So I'm marking these levels because like if we get the acceptance above A947, I'm thinking like locally we're more likely to go down. But if we end up going up, we want to have that acceptance above the this previous value area low, like a break structure, so we can leave this value area, get acceptance to this one, and then rotate to its value area high, and potentially go range bound to eventually get enough momentum to break 96.42.72. But right now, I'll be more prepared mentally for the drop than anything. Here we got lower time frame bearish divergence. We've got we're right above the value area high. We're rejecting off that previous value area low. We already got the change of character with this wick. And now we're kind of like coming back up to potentially the golden pocket. Yeah, the golden pocket retest. Which is common for the right shoulder for a head and shoulders. So we come up here. Yeah, there's our head and shoulders. I would want a full body close above this level here. Like I know we already got the change of character. We're late to the party for any like Fibonacci setups. So I'd rather have you guys wait if you're wanting to jump in on a short on Litecoin for that full body close here, unless you're already in somewhere up here. That'd be great. This is your continuation warning. So if you want that continuation or that confirmation of acceptance to this value area, we need that 15-minute candle close below 87.59. And that price acceptance could bring us down to the value area low again, but we got to watch out for the POC along the way. That's our core barrier. But our next core barrier is basically the value area low confluence with these lows here. That's almost picture perfect for a short. And you use this shoulder here, assuming you don't see it climb back up further and further. But if we get that confirmation, this is our current stop loss guard if we got that close. And your risk to reward ratio would look not too bad, depending on how the candle closes inside the range, of course. Because you can have those scenarios where it just like closes down here and then you don't really get your trade, which is pretty frustrating sometimes. But this is the current R&R. It's like 1 to 2.2. So you'll be risking to lose $100 to gain 220. Yeah, I hope that helps. The like TIA close to cycle lows opportunity coming soon. TIA. There's that alarm again. Jeepers. Yeah, we keep dancing around the alarm. Sorry, guys. And I got my alarm set up in my house too, so there's like a speaker in every room that just goes off whenever my alarms go off, and it drives people crazy. But let me know when I need to be looking at my charts. But yeah, what were we looking at? We were looking at TIA. Yeah. Let's pull up TIA. We last looked at it on the 2nd. It's like 3 days ago. Oh, we wanted that break of momentum confluence off the value area high. And we were concerned about this short confluence here, but we never got the confirmation. We can go zoom out on, that's a steep drop, and just kept going down. So we're at a previous value area low again. Where's our acceptance? It was here. Yeah, some people might have jumped in on the short, like up here from this double top structure to front run this break down here. We double bottoms. Whenever we're pulled, we pulled back. It was a really short-lived run. Let's go to the daily. Like daily, this is what Runway was talking about in the chat. We're at the cycle lows again. So this is definitely a zone where you want to prepare for like a potential accumulation of the asset. If we get the lower low, then we can rotate this key area from here to here if we get that lower low on the daily. So we'll see what happens. But we can prepare for a potential SFP down here or a reversal off this value area low and potentially get an ascending double bottom. A lot of things have been recovering lately as an ascending double bottom. So let's see if we get that again or if we get that sweep. I'd rather get the sweep so we have less reasoning to come back down here. Like some traders feel like they're trading on a glass floor if we don't sweep liquidity before running up. But yeah, if we come down here instead, if we don't go any lower than this value area low, right? If we don't confirm it as resistance, then we could just like prepare for this level to be our confirmation for reversal if we get that lower low first. And then we can use this as our key area for a potential strong reversal. We might get a front run opportunity down here before coming up there, but then this would be your key barrier and your confirmation level for a continuation. Yeah, that's pretty much it for TIA right now. So I hope that helps you out. We got yeah, lots of things to prepare for down here. Potential SFP. Reversal off this value area low. Like we have a lot of reversal points that we can watch between here and here. If you're a spot trader, this might be an opportunity to prepare for a reversal for like a long-term hold. Yeah, because this could be the moment before the absolute bottom is called for TIA. All right, Dave, Cryptic, Shankland, ZBCN moonshot yesterday. Short set was possibility. Yeah, let's take a quick peek at Bitcoin's wall here. It's at 739 now. This little battle is a little tedious. I'm really close to turning that alarm off. Okay, so I gotta type that one out. What is the CBCN? Where is that? Yeah, CBC. Oh, yeah, it's a protocol. I think we looked at this last live too. And we said it moonshot. This is the 5-minute chart. Oh yeah, okay. Definitely an area you want to prepare for shorts. We've got so this is the range for this set that we were in for 315 days. We confirmed the valley area as support here. When we pulled back, we tested not just the valley area but also the 200-day EMA, and then we got the higher high that confirmed an entry. We had a pullback. Where'd that fall down to? The equilibrium point. Okay. Nothing I would have taken action on the pullback, but that was a good change of character break, or a break of structure, sorry, for continuation. Now we are just swept up this liquidity here. Let's get this magnet. We just swept up just above those highs. We could come up to test it again, which would be like another local SFP. This is we didn't really SFP on, maybe not the 4 hour, but I would have taken the double top confluence break, but I don't know if I would have trusted the SFP. So maybe we'll get another sweep up here. We could potentially get like a 4 hour SFP off these bodies here. So if we get basically what you want to see is price action to come up, grab the liquidity, close back below this orange line, and then you'd have like a 4 hour SFP to trade off of. And then you'd watch the lows first, and then you just watch your bears along the way down. But you could target like the previous value area high up here. We're about to get a golden cross. How we do the last time? Golden cross, short-lived last time. And that was the first time I ever had a golden cross. So right now it has pretty much a 0% win rate on golden crosses, but it's a pretty young asset. That's what I'm preparing for. Definitely a short. If we get that higher high above this, then we need consolidation is what we need. Consolidation above the highs. And so we can let new people come in. All the old investors that bought, get out. But a lot of people have control over this asset. It looks like based on how all this range is, like even the little fish might be able to like drive the price down a bit. Okay. Well, that's what I'll be preparing for. It's like a 4 hour SFP or lower time frame structural reversal, like we see here on the 15-minute time frame. We got that double top. We got the pullback confirmation, lower low, stop loss here. I would be mindful of this, which we had a couple bounces off of last time. But yeah, next time around, if we get that structural reversal, it's like a fractalization of a larger double top. No problem. I hope that helps you out. Trying to listen to you and Brian at the same time. Oh, that's probably yeah, we've had people like struggling with trying to listen to me, Brian, and Alex Crypto at the same time. Yeah, we might need to reorganize some things with Brian or myself. I might do maybe my Monday lives could be a little bit later, but I'd like to try to be consistent for you guys. Okay, so that's that asset. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. See what it's doing. Are we getting that? Well, that sell wall must be gone. We got a vector candle response. Let's see. Yep, sell wall's gone. All right. We do have another one up here, but we got a little ways to go. 94,690. So here, let's change the coordinates to this one. 94,690. Which is pretty close to the target that we have in mind. So at least now we know at 94,690, we might have a front run barrier to our target. So if anyone like me the other day jumps into a trade and like, yeah, I got stopped out just before it ran up and almost hit my target here. But yeah, there's those scenarios once in a while that, especially if you're away from the chart, that if you jump into a trade and then it barely gets close to hitting your target, but you're asleep or something at the time and then it comes down, Order books are great to watch before you go to bed. See if there's any sell walls so you can undercut the target so you can at least guarantee your position out if you're asleep at that time. You do sacrifice a little bit of your R&R, but it's better than accepting a loss. This cycle been more challenging to trade for you? Politics and tariffs? I wouldn't say the whole cycle has been challenging. If anything, it's actually been one of the easier up until the tariff stuff started. Yeah, it's been kind of easy mode up until here. It's gotten harder from here to here. Like during this time was the hardest. If I were to circle the biggest pains in the butt, this would be the biggest pain in the butt right here. I've been kicking ass through here and here and a little bit through here, but there were some parts through this I was struggling. The EMA battle I hated. I kind of stayed away from a lot of the trades there. But I loved this range. I made a lot of money on that range, like a stupid amount. The range gap was like 25%, 20%. Yeah, 25%. So, yeah, I loved trading this. And this was relatively easy too. This was kind of an emotional time for me. With like the debanking and stuff like that. It was harder for me to hold my longer term trade this time around compared to the last cycle. But the last cycle was really transparent. It was just like every other cycle, right? Like this cycle was very easy. You know, that's so easy to hold your long, right? Whereas this, you've got like a lot of harsh pullbacks, crazy news trying to get you out of your positions, right? But this, it's gotten relatively unique compared to previous cycles ever since this range. This is stuff that we've never had happen before started occurring here. But yeah, out of everything, it's just this little spot here. That's the hardest. All right. So there's that. We had a vector candle created here. We reclaimed it immediately. That must have been a market sell. We had a like a 5-minute order block here, but there goes that alarm again. I think I might turn that alarm off. There we go. We create a new order block off the VWAP. So now we got some additional confluence for a pullback. If we come up, we could test this and come down. So waiting for the proper R&R kind of saved us from a bad trade. Where we got that pull there. So let's get the Fibonacci from here to here. See where we could fall down to. This is our golden pocket area here. We have the confluence of 5-minute order block. Like typically I'd box this whole zone. Set back. Do we have buy walls waiting for us? Yeah, not until 93,260. That's way down here. Yeah. No confidence in the buy sides. Lots of confidence in the sell side. Like define confidence, I mean like lots of consistency in certain key areas where the walls are formed. If you have these little tiny little steps, it's telling you that there isn't very much confidence in any key areas. We got a lot more on the sell side than the buy side. end of the 4-year cycle can be tough. I do think that we're going to get extension based on-chain metrics. We've been getting like these proper resets, like insanely crazy resets in the market that we don't normally get. If we look at the typical behavior, like the black line's the price action right here. And yeah, we had someone message me about this. So let me kind of just move this a little bit to the right. There we go. All right, so yeah, so if you look at the price action here, it's the black line. And the blue line is the relative unrealized profits and losses. And as price action goes up, the market becomes more and more overheated as people like accumulate more and more gains that aren't fully realized yet and they haven't taken profits yet. And this is tracked through an API of like people's holdings. So if there's a lot of people who did a transaction around these areas, this thing will track it and see like how much of a gain you're currently in. And it takes that weighted value between all the wallets and to find out like where people are typically like in a large amount of gains, where price will tend to get like overheated and you can start preparing for people to start taking profits. And this is called the top perfectly every single time. It's called the bottoms perfectly every single time because it's live data. And the only thing you really technically need to wait for, well, that I've waited for ever since we got into these zones, is like that daily structural confirmation, like the daily change of character occurrence. And up here is where you would see altcoins start to have their season because people are moving their funds out of Bitcoin into network tokens and then into like the layer 2s or the low market cap stuff. And it usually lasts between 2 weeks and a month. But we have rallies that lead up to it, but this is typically where the seasons begin, where things start making less and less sense. And we just like have these volatile, crazy, illogical pumps. But every cycle we run up, right? We keep sprinting our way up. And this time we ran up for a bit, but as soon as we got to our all-time high, we started to like, I guess, rest for a little bit. And I think it has a lot to do with the ETF and institutional involvement trying to like suppress price action to get people to sell their bags. Because if you look at the on-chain metrics and what people are doing with their funds, anyone who has like 100 or less Bitcoin has been selling to people with 100 or more Bitcoin. We've been selling to whales. Like whales have been growing like crazy. Sharks have been growing like crazy. But the fish, the crabs, the plankton, they're all decreasing. Like the fish especially. Like people that were hold between 10 and 100 Bitcoin have been selling ever since Bitcoin hit its like macro golden pocket. But if you look at like the whales and the sharks, like the sharks have been skyrocketing like crazy between 100 and 1,000 Bitcoin. Whales, they've been selling a bit too. It looks like they were like at this range they've been selling on people. You can see at the bottom of the range we have spikes up. But one thing that sucks about this chart, and I've noticed as well, is if you watch the Arc of Intelligence and like what people are doing with their bags, they've been separating it based on like almost like a specific value increments, and I think it's because of insurance. Like they're separating their funds in a way where their assets will be more insured. Like BlackRock, for example, as soon as like a wallet gets like I think it's 40 or 50 million, they create a new wallet, and they basically every 40 or 50 million they have a new wallet like ready to go, and I think it's because of insurance. But yeah, that's what's been going on in the background. Everyone's been kind of like selling their holdings to bigger fish, especially lately since February. A huge drop in like the smaller wallets. And we go to this chart again. We've pumped up to almost our all-time high again. Like we're only about 19K away, but relative to like to this chart, we're only at like 1.16. But the last time we were at that level, we were like 1.74. So I'm thinking if we get to like 109K again, we'd probably see it around maybe like 1.30. So we'd have like more room for pushing our way back up with the equal amount of exhaustion of the last time we were at the all-time high. All right, we got to bounce with that previous value low. Let's see how this candle closes and stuff. Please don't forget this cubic TIA. All right. All right, let's look at cubic. I do got to head out right after this, though. Cubic. So last time we looked at, we were looking at this key level, but we definitely have a lower key level now. Yeah, so last time we were looking at, we're looking at this demand zone and how it's been like holding up the price in confluence with the value area low here. And what we wanted was a break of this momentum and like that break of that POC in confluence with that change of character occurrence. But we didn't get the confirmation. We instead kept going down. And now we're at this previous value area high. If we zoom out, we used it as resistance and support consistently. So we are getting squeezed against that value area high. We don't want acceptance into it, which we were really close to getting, or else we can get a rotation down to this POC for a like about 9.5% drop. We saw a couple assets so far that look like they're more positioned for drops than they are for longs. Bitcoin might give us like a false sense of reversal here. If we might get that higher high, but is that worth the R&R is not looking great. It's almost untradeable right now. Depending on your trading style, of course. Like my trading style right now, it's pretty much untradeable until we get the proper structure. The cubic, yeah, it's getting squeezed. I would also track the pace of the buyer's momentum here in case we build a falling wedge. There you go. We can delete this. It's not looking great, man. So what I'm worried about is the break of structure occurrence below the value area high that could bring us down to this POC. We could slow claw our way down and then get that change of character for the falling wedge if that does play out. But yeah, we're in an area where a lot of people would prepare for longs. But if we get that acceptance of the value area high, like that break of structure, then we're just going to continue to go down. Have a continuation warning. And that's pretty much all I've got for you with cubic. There's not really much more than that. If we do stabilize here, we've got a potential rounded like top here for like a double bottom posture. If we break that downtrending momentum, we'd have that confluence where we have to watch this as a key area for that continuation. But this is an area of not only resistance for the neckline for the double bottom, but it's also the previous support for that value area here. So a break of this would give us a confluence for like a stronger continuation up. And this is the macro, right? This is a macro level here. If we zoom out on the daily, this is what we're looking at. This previous value area here that we're in for about 141 days. We haven't had proper acceptance into this area. We got a good candle close up here on the daily. But what you want to have for a daily acceptance into a value area is a pullback and a higher high. And we got the pullback, but we haven't got like the higher high. We instead hit like that supply concern, and then we got an immediate rejection off of it. But right now, I think this is a key area on the hourly that you should watch. I think you've been hiding on the toilet for that one. Yeah, I'll probably be buying some if we come down here, to be honest. I'll be waiting. Like, this would be a perfect structure to buy an asset on, because like this is like relatively low prices for an asset like this. They broke the blockchain world record for amount of transactions per second. So I feel like this asset's a good one to hold for long term. And its tokenomics are there. It's not like you have to deal with crazy, scary inflation. It has a super high supply, but all that really is, in my opinion, it's just a way to like encourage young investors. Kind of like what like Netflix or Tesla or all these other stock creators do when they do a split, is to create the illusion that the price is lower when the market cap is still the same, right? So what token creators do is they'll create like a large supply to do kind of the same thing. Because of the contracts are immutable. It's not like you can change the supply whenever you want unless the contract allows them to do so. Like a pancake swap or Uniswap, for example, where they're just infinitely creating a larger and larger supply. A fixed supply. But a large supply isn't a bad supply in comparison to something like that. All right, so yeah, I'll be preparing for a structural reversal here. This is a key area that you want to have broken for that strong continuation, or that break of structure acceptance of the value area where we could fall down to that POC. So those are your two key areas that you got to watch. I definitely got to go, guys. I got another call coming up. I will give you guys the signal in the community if I find anything safe. Yeah, just reach out if you need help with anything, and have yourself an amazing day. The tournament's doing great. We've got some people like kicking ass. There's someone with like up 50% of their entire account. If that person's consistent, they're probably going to win. But there's a prize pool of like $10,000. So lots to share. And the winners are like the top 10. So as long as you're part of the top 10, you are going to get a prize. I'll see you guys later. And yeah, like I said, just reach out to me in the Discord if you need help with anything, and I'll give you guys a signal if I find something safe. See you guys.